What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unfinished Business. This is episode 50, guys. This is an exciting episode, and we do have a special guest with us tonight. We've got Ryan on from Brixton Disc Golf, and we're just going to talk a little bit about the company for starters, but really we wanted to have Ryan on because he's got a lot of good takes and a lot of different things that he's thought about in the world of disc golf. So we're going to get a chance to kind of discuss some of that tonight as well. So how you doing, Ryan?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope my takes are well. It got me nervous on that. But I'm definitely like more of a morning person. So you got me on here so late. But I'm gonna stay like alert, and we'll get through it.
Yeah, Corey needs to stop rubbing his eyes. He's already beat.
Sleepy young man over there.
When you know Corey's sleepy, you know everyone's getting a little sleepy. I think it's the daylight. It's not daylight savings. It's daylight unsavings. That is.
Yeah. That's how they do it.
That is a professional term.
Daylight unsavings is getting everyone. We're like week 3 of it, and it's pretty bad,
brutal,
dude.
Man. It's brutal.
Yeah, I'm getting really tired. Like around like 4:30.
Daylight spending time.
Daylight spending. That's a good one. There we go. So Ryan, why don't you just kind of give us a quick rundown of how you came up with what's your background in trading cards or sports cards, and then what gave you the push to kind of start your company, just to give us a little basis about how you got started.
Man, I have no background in trading cards other than I just collected them as a kid. So came in fresh. Started the company. I was just collecting disc golf cards, and nothing else was really piquing my interest. I think I was chasing at that time. I was chasing some like 2006 to 2010 Saints players, like New Orleans Saints football cards and stuff. But I was mostly into disc golf cards, but I was just running into like a lot of walls. There wasn't a lot available. And what I'm mostly into is like memorabilia cards and autograph cards. And I was really struggling to find those. Topps made a couple and Leafs made a few, but they would all use like the same photos in every card. So they paid for one photo, and then that would get used from 2012 to 2015. So it was kind of lame. Like it wasn't like the same experience for every other sports card industry. So we just kind of went snooping around. We had no plans of starting a business or anything. It was just, hey, let's have fun with this. Let's create what I'm wanting to see, and it really just like took off.
So what was like the first set or first rough drafts that you created? When did you first start it?
It started off, we were like a Twitter account, and I was just finding like eBay ads for disc golf cards. There's only like 8 cards available, and so I would post it, and I was just, I don't know what I was doing. I was just poking around, so I didn't have any like real clear purpose. I was just like, the water's all muddy. Let me roll up my pants and just get in there and just start feeling around and see what's in there. And during that process, we got connected with OTB, and they were like, I remember I thought they were going to make a disc golf card set. And I was like, at this point, I was like, we should build on this, and there's no hurry, we can make it work over time. But then OTB started liking and interacting with all our like posts, and there was like 2 people interacting with it. So it was noticeable that OTB was interacting. And I did a little research on OTB, and I saw like they had like all these wild products on their in their store. Like they had a coloring book, and they had all these different things. And I was like, well, these guys really, they try, they're like, right, let's go explore, let's go try something new, and they don't mind it. So I remember thinking like, okay, they're going to make a set, and that'll be good, but I wanted to do it myself. And then I reached out to them. I was like, hey, are y'all going to make a set or something? Like, what's going on? Like, why is all the interesting cards? And they're like, no, but we would love to. and I was already doing like a little poking around, and at that point I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And I was like, oh yeah, I make cards. You know, I can do it. But my partner, and he wasn't even my partner at the time, but he was one of my best friends, Jason. And I know, like, me and him have been buddies since we were kids. And I'd always have like these ideas and stuff. And between the two of us, like, I was like, we can put something polished out there. So made a bunch of phone calls and started having the conversations with OTB and just figuring out what it would look like, you know, and what we could do and what we could play with, and just navigating that. And a big part of it was like, well, we don't want the product to fail, you know, like all this money is costing real money to produce. And the last thing I wanted them to do was invest all this money and nobody be there to purchase the product. So I was like, well, let's start like teasing stuff, and let's make a Discord community, and let's start trying to like gather people into the Discord community to create a customer base for OTB, because we weren't spending any of our own money. They were spending all the money on it. We were just kind of there for the ride, and like, let's try to use this experience to learn and build something, whatever it is.
Right.
And then we started like making it, and then something really cool happened. We were like down to the very end, and OTB called, and they were like, hey, been talking to this agent, and I think we can get all their players. And so I was like, okay, well, let's do that. That sounds cool. But I had to like pivot, and we made the dual crowns and the triple crowns because of that. We made the not the 5 times, but the Holy Shot card because of that, because it added him, James Conrad. So a lot of good stuff came of it. And by the time the product came out, let's see, they released the base sets first, and those sold out in 30 seconds. Like, they went live on the internet. The whole world was finally getting to buy like a Brixton branded product.
What year was this?
And 2022. We started the Twitter account like late 2021, like December 2021, and then by January 2022, we had like made contact with OTB, and we had started down that path. And then the product was released. The base sets were available at OTB Open. I remember that, which I think was like May, something like that. So it was a really good experience when the product finally came out. There was like a customer base there to purchase it, and they like showed up better than I ever could have planned it, you know. And the base set sold out, and then they released the actual product, which there were only 500 boxes, but they released the first 250, and then those sold out in like, it was less than 2 minutes. Like, they were gone. And there was a 5-box limit on it during that run. And then the second batch of 250 came out, and there was a 2-box limit. And here, I remember talking to OTB, and like all the people on the Discord were like, "There's got to be a better." I was like, "What do you want? Like, what kind of limit do you want? Like 2 boxes?" Right. And they're like, "Yes, 2 boxes." And I was like, "Okay." So I had to call OTB and be like, "Hey, remember that big investment? You know, like, will you please limit the purchases to 2 boxes?" And I didn't know how this was going to affect everything, because we got taken out by that first wave, and then the second wave took us out, and now this is the third and final wave, and I didn't want a bunch of like angry people. Right. But they went to 2 boxes, and then that sold out in like 2 minutes again. So
that's crazy,
dude. It was really cool. Like, it was. I remember the first wave. I was on the way to meet my partner, Jason, who was living in Lafayette. So I was driving all the way to him, and I stopped in Beaumont, Texas at like this chicken restaurant, and I'm watching it happen. Like, I'm refreshing. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then I'm just like calling him after. I'm like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
So it was the coolest thing, you know, but it's also like the scariest thing, because it's like all of a sudden you realize, like, God, that was so much work, and we've got to do it all over again. And venture into dealing with things that we hadn't dealt with before. And like I
Right.
said, I don't have me nor Jason has a background in trading cards, so this is all new to us, and we have to learn extremely fast. And but it went well. Do you want me to like keep going? Because I can just tell you the whole story if you let me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, go ahead.
So at that point, like there's a, it was like people were waiting in a virtual line. They're clicking refresh. They're trying to purchase the product. So we knew we had something that was like worthy, and we were like, okay, we're going to launch a Kickstarter, but we didn't have a product, and we didn't have anything except we didn't make any money off the OTB set. So like we literally had nothing, and then so we created the golden era. And now the big problem, like we got a little like legitimacy with the players, but we never like negotiated with the players. So I don't know how much they made on the OTB set. OTB handled all that. So now we have to like venture into this realm where we have to like talk to these people, and I get like extremely nervous. So it was that was a whole thing. But you got to negotiate and do all these things, and I have no basis to work off. Like how much should we pay y'all? I don't know. Like I think we can afford this, So we went in and started negotiating and doing all these things, and we created those two products. And we set a goal like within 30 days, let's have enough commits and enough designs and enough. Let's remove like the murkiness from this concept, and enough so that we can advertise something and sell it. And it took 2 months, so it took longer than 30 days. And at the end of it, like by the time we were ready, like after that 60 days had passed, we got to announce Ed Hedrick was signed on, his name, image, and likeness. Ken Climo had signed on. So like all these huge people had signed on. Like we ended up with like, I think agreements with like 130 players. So like we went on this like frenzy, it was just nonstop, go. And it was still an uphill battle. Like now it's like almost like a cheat code. Like it's easier to get people involved. And back then it was just such an uphill battle. But we climbed it, and we made it through, and the designs were good, the concepts were good, and people like came through for us. Like right 60 days after like that initial release, we launched our Kickstarter, and then they came in and supported us enough where we could like build out that real first leg, where we actually became a business that made product and charged money for it, that whole thing.
Wow. So really, you guys have been a company for like 3-4-ish years, correct?
Man, I was just thinking about it. I think it's like an actual like business, like with a government name and all that. Like I think we're about to hit like 3 years.
That's crazy. And you guys, I mean, if you're comfortable saying this, like you were telling us you might think you could sell out by Christmas time.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking at the entire stacks right now, and it was so many pallets of product came in, and now we're down to the last little bit. We've already shut down sales for retail stores, so like the wholesale orders, like you can't order them anymore via wholesale. Yeah. It's gone well, but it's also like by far the most product we've ever had. So that OTB set was 500 boxes total, plus some base sets, and the Golden Era product was 2,000 boxes total, and then this is 9,000 hobby boxes total. So it's much larger, and the goal was like, well, let's have some product. This is our like flagship set. It's like Brixton, like that's the name of it. It's not Brixton Golden Era or Brixton Reserve or Brixton Titanium or anything like that. It's just Brixton, and it's meant to like kind of be there, when we do like this one product we're working on is like a more limited set, and that's going back to about 2,000 boxes. We're going back to that world, so even when we sell out of those boxes, like we want this product to be there.
Right.
But that won't be the case this year, and there's a couple of factors that could be, for that. So like it took a long time for this product to kind of come full circle. So like a lot of people have been like waiting to buy. So it went a little bit faster. There wasn't other options. There might be or there should be other options in the future. So there's a few reasons why, but it's definitely going faster than we planned.
Yeah, I think I mean, we could talk a long time about it, but we want to kind of get into some discussion questions. But like, I think one of the last questions I'm thinking about is like, what is like the big goal moving into 2025 for you guys as a company, essentially?
Um, so we have to have product on the shelf. So that's been our big challenge. I said 3 years earlier. We've had product on the shelf for like 30 days. So
Right.
we have to get product on the shelf faster. But at the same time, we have to find the right balance, because you just don't want to overprint a bunch of stuff. So everything has its purpose, and some things have to be limited. Like, it doesn't matter if more people will buy it. It's just tested. There has to be like a strong demand beyond the supply. So as far as like our goals is we as a team, we need to fill out our annual product portfolio, which is a combination of products that will come out with each year. Some of them, like earlier I was saying, this is just our Brixton product. Like that would be an annual product where we showcase the rookies from that season, and we kind of dive into themes that the flagship always has, and then a variety of products that make up the rest of our annual portfolio. So that's a big part of it. At this point, we've just about done everything once. So it's like everything has like a skeleton. It's got a framework that it
Right.
lives off of. So we don't have to go and rebuild everything. We just kind of have to update and fix what we feel like we got wrong on a lot of things. So I really want to hit all our deadlines, internally. That's a big goal. And then another one is going to be our on-tour experience. Like, we really feel like there's the biggest concentration of professional disc golf fans are at these events. So I think it's very important for Brixton to have like a presence on tour.
Yeah.
Not only just to like create new vectors and sales and things like that, or like player relation. There's a traveling caravan of talented players that's just traveling and living in vans and RV and having to operate their entity, their business, travelable offices. It's very important to do best to like meet them halfway on things like when we're getting memorabilia from them and all cut costs, like having a central hub that's a tour. It allows us to ship things to our HQ, in one package rather than reimburse 130 different players, some of which are in Europe. So it's a big deal for us to have that on tour presence and learn that world and navigate it, and just try to act at a very high level. So that's goal for 2025. And another one is our, disc golf is our most important like market I feel like we'll ever have. But it's important that we don't rely on disc golf to carry the load of our infrastructure. We have multiple employees now. We're growing, and it's important not to put that burden on the back of disc golf alone, an emerging sport. So like I said, it's just very important not to put that stress on disc golf. So it's important that we find other ways to bring money to Brixton to help support that infrastructure, so we can invest more resources back into disc golf. So we're taking our first stab in 2025 at an outside market. And I won't say what it is, but we're moving forward with it. We'll see how it goes. But it's certainly like a later in the year something that I'm worried about. Guys, y'all mind if I take a bathroom break? We'll just edit this out.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Oh, yeah, you're totally good.
Yeah, I'll just jump in and say that Ryan was real cool enough to like send us like our own boxes that we opened up on our stream if you haven't watched us before, and we had an absolute blast opening up these boxes, and I was super impressed with the quality of all of these cards and everything. He had some really cool different designs and whatnot that they've chosen to do. So
Oh yeah.
just super impressive and like just super fun. Like there's been I mean, I'd say I think we all agreed like we haven't had that much fun. It's like a different form of gambling, right? You're opening and buying cards and it's just meeting that feed of gambling, and yet you're just opening plastic or cardboard. So it was a total fun. Ryan, I was just telling everyone that like you sent us a box each and we had so much fun opening cards, and it's like the first time you get to open up a pack, like you're just hooked and you just want to like keep going. I mean, it seems like when you go on Instagram, you see people throwing away their entire lives to get your cards. Like, does that feel like a heavy
Oh
responsibility
my God.
of like the financial burden that you've been putting on families because people have been throwing their life savings at your cards?
What a take. So first of all, in the world of cards, our product is such a great value. First of all, like it's priced so well where like anybody can buy a box and walk away feeling like they got something, you know.
Yeah.
So we have a very like good value. And I just remember being a kid and wasting my money on cards and not being happy, like
Yeah.
feeling empty, you know. And so I was like, well, I don't want to make a product like that. So we, you know, we keep print runs small. We try to put a lot of like, you know, we truly try to connect you to these players with, you know, the medium we have, and we just try to put as much value into that as we possibly can. So hopefully we're not you know, destroying families prior to Christmas. And
You can't control people's choices, you know. But I've just seen so many people, like I've seen Instagram pages of like guy collected all of the Legacy series of Paul Macbeth, and I'm like just thinking, how long did it take, or did you open all of those to like collect all those? And I've seen like people stacking boxes, you know, that aren't named Birdie Smith of all the boxes that they've opened, and like if you're doing the math in your head, you're like, dude, they've spent so much money. But you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, you're bringing joy to some people. I mean, it's so much fun to open these boxes, and I think I'll be transparent and say, you know, my first thought is that you were telling us that you're going to possibly sell it by Christmas, maybe, right? And so I was thinking like, okay, well, have you thought about how much more you can increase the price point before demand becomes an issue? And to give you a ton of credit, you're like, I want to drop the price down significantly so that more people can get their hands on this product. And I think that's the really exciting thing about your deal or your partial ownership with Dylan Cease, I'm assuming, is that that's going to be hopefully viable to be able to print enough copies to where you can lower the price point, is what I would be assuming.
well, you know, there's a lot of different ways we can lower the price point. You know, this past year, you know, we didn't have any products except for flagship and tour series. So it's not like we grew by a bunch of products this year. So our company is like dependent on the money that we make from flagship, because it's all we made. So as we kind of, you know, go into next year, it helps us out as we have more products, and we don't depend on, you know, like I was saying, on diversifying markets, so we don't put all the stress on disc golf. We want to diversify the product so we don't put all the stress on flagship, because then you end up starting having to make flagship do things it shouldn't do. But to speak to your question, yeah, there's a lot of ways where we can inject more value, lower the price point, because I really want people to walk into a disc golf store and every time I go into a store I'll buy something, but I would love it to be like, hey, instead of me spending $25 on some plastic that I don't need to buy, I would love to offer an option, a $5 to $10 option where you can go in there and open a pack.
I feel attacked. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
You're exactly
there's
right.
nothing wrong.
I don't need that plastic. I need cardboard instead now.
Well, it's different. It scratches a different itch and stuff.
It does.
But yeah, we want more resources, things like that on tour experience. Like, that's a big investment for us. Yeah. We have to like customize a trailer for it and all these things. But and pay multiple employees to be on the road and make sure they have a comfortable life out there. So it's a big investment for us, but at the end of the day, it's going to make our operations cheaper. It's going to, as we grow, it'll actually become cheaper for us to run. So there's a lot of different things like that will help us. And then, yeah, having Dylan Cease is definitely going to improve us, from a lot of different fronts. So it's a big deal for us to have him here, and like we want a lot of horsepower. Even though we're a very small team, we want a very high horsepower engine.
Yeah, well, it's super exciting to watch and listen to. And Ryan, how did you find us in particular? I'm curious.
Dude, so y'all have a co-host that looks exactly like this guy named Devin Sawa, and I remember watching him on the Foundation podcast, a debate night, and I saw him on like a thumbnail or something, and I was like, oh, I recognize him. Let me go give it a watch. And I just started watching it, and then I was like, oh, all these guys, talking disc golf and just nerding out about. And so I started hanging out with y'all, and it's a nice little. I like the Discord and stuff because I love our Brixton Discord. It's great, but I do have to like be clocked in when I'm there. So it's a nice to go hang out with y'all and be clocked out. Although y'all take it close to the line sometimes, where I'm like, I'm gonna have to leave this server.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely get close to that point.
If you think it's bad there, you should probably do the private ones.
I should probably not.
we obviously, like, the thing is, we had our line of communication in a Discord, and then finally, I don't know how it came up, but we were like, hey, why don't we create, I think it was the weekly challenges is what it really, maybe that started.
I think that's what started it, yeah.
Okay. And we were like, hey, we want to open this up. Oh, actually, you know what I think it really was? Is that we had Scott. It was Scott.
It was,
we were like,
I wanted
Scott
to
shows up every, Scott shows up every week. Let's make another available thread so we can talk with Scott. And then it was the weekly challenges, and now it's become this open thing where we tell people, hey, if you want to talk with us all the time or throughout the week, then we will do this. Yeah, Scott said yes.
What was
Shout out Scott.
Fly Dye Innova stuff. Like Scott was saying he had something I think Matt wanted to buy.
Yeah.
So like, how do I send pictures? Like, we'll just make a Discord.
Yeah.
I still need to buy some of that off him.
That's just how it started, and it's been great.
It's fun. I got to talk about like experimenting with basket chains and stuff the other day, and there's not many people I get to here's my thoughts on it, here's my ideas. This is what I've been thinking about.
Well, we want to get a couple of your takes on something. I think Corey, we started getting into it in our Discord, so we're going to continue on. Corey wants to talk about these flight numbers.
Oh. Yeah, so my thought process is flight numbers aren't bad. It's just I think no one really knows how to read them, or at least know what to do with them. I don't think there's supposed to be like concrete this, but you do need something to kind of get your thought around, do I want to throw this disc or not? And this is a way of like kind of segmenting which slot it's going to be. So I have this idea that I'll throw out in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, join, because we're going to have some crazy discussions. But what is your take on flight numbers? Because I think it's blown out of proportion how much they're hated, but at the same time, I understand why.
What is my take on flight numbers?
Yeah.
Or is like the chat, like the
your
room?
take. What's your take on numbers? What do you think about it?
I like flight numbers. I appreciate them. It gives me like a ballpark general area. You know, you can't measure it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't measure the way I throw. You can't measure the way the disc throw.
Corey's
you can't measure this
to this grave.
It's like it's like art. You can't measure art. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't zoom in, you zoom out. You know, this probably isn't making any sense, but like, you just need sections, like categories,
that makes so
and
much
then
sense.
a little bit of guidance, and that's what the flight numbers do, you know? So like, hey, I'm looking for this type of art. Get me to that hall, and then I'll take it from there, you know? So just get me in the general area is all I ask of flight numbers. If you're asking them to be very specific, you'll probably never be happy with any system that ever gets created.
My biggest thing when I got into disc golf is that I wish there was an easier way of telling people who get into disc golf is like the plastics will change the flight of the disc. I had no idea when I first got in. I just thought like, oh, cool, this is like translucent from Innova. Like, I'll buy this plastic because I like how it looks. So I got a Champion Firebird as one of my first discs. And I'm like, why does this thing want to get to the ground so fast?
Yeah, but when you're starting off, that shouldn't matter. Like, it's not like it's going to manipulate the flight that much.
I think the plastic definitely does.
No, when you're first starting out, you're like, that's the thing. Is like, you need to figure that out.
Oh, you're saying that's part of the growing pains that you must go through.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or like, hey, why does this disc that I've beat in fly so much different than the brand new one I just bought?
That is one of the greatest things in disc golf is when you beat in a disc enough where it changes the flight. You're like, this is the greatest thing of all time in disc golf is a beat in disc.
That's the worst thing of all time in disc golf.
Yeah. And then you bring 3 Ryobi batteries with your leaf blower.
I still need to take my rake and go to Iron Hill and try to find that glow pipeline, but we had not nasty. We had an extensive, I guess I'll say, not nasty, extensive discussion in our Discord about flight numbers. And Taylor's on one side, and it sounds like some people are on another side. Taylor, why don't you give your take on flight numbers real quick? For the masses who are going to watch this.
No, and it's definitely
hundreds of people.
I egg it on just to be kind of funny and get people riled up about it. So it's a little superfluous, and I really don't think the issue is flight numbers. I just wish there was a better way, similar to what you're saying, Tyler, to like tell someone new, like, hey, this is a guide. Like, because I have physically talked to people on a course about like disc, and they're like, oh, I would never try that disc. It's a -1.2 and I need a -1.1 or a -1.0. It's like, I could never throw something that stable. And it's like, just as you said, like, well, what if you got one in like G-Star, or what if you didn't get the Champion one, or what if it wasn't brand new? Then there's so many variables, especially the flight number, specifically glide, just is so irrelevant and so impossible to put a number on, because run to run, plastic to plastic, dome's different, discs just fly differently. So there's so much variability, not only in the product but in the user. Whereas like, I may throw at 70 miles per hour and 1500 RPM, and Corey may throw at 65 miles an hour but 1900 RPM, and we're ending up in the same general area. but the style contributes to a different style of flight. And at least in my opinion, what I have always felt is that the more spin you put on a disc, the more accentuated the turn and fade are with the disc.
Yeah.
So there's just so much variability. Max, as I come back, we're talking about flight numbers again. It'll never end. We're just always going to be talking about flight numbers. Episode 150, we're still talking about flight numbers. But no, so that's always been my piece. Is just like, you know, you can wish as much for a beginner as you want, and it's so hard to make that consistent. And then I go back to I myself, when I was like 16, walked into our Civic Center to buy disc golf discs, and I see on the end of a flight chart, Destroyer, not made for beginners. And I'm like, oh, sick, I'm buying that one. And then I'm stuck with a DX Destroyer and AVR, and I throw it, 40 feet straight left into a road. So
That's your fault.
yeah, sometimes you just got to let stuff happen, let people figure it out. I came out fine.
Yeah, I don't get as fired up about flight numbers, but I enjoyed watching the discussion develop in our Discord about the different ideas that people want to do and how it affects it. I see both sides. I just think the plastic matters a lot, and I don't know how you figure that out. And I think I find it very strange how companies will choose a flight number system. And like they'll put like a 0 turn, but when you throw it, it turns. And it's like, how in the world do you put a 0 turn? Like at least put like a 0.5 and then it turns. So
I think the hardest thing is, to pick on a sponsor of a couple people on this call, like the finish line era and composite plastic and forged plastic are two different frisbees. Like you can't.
We all know that. So.
And like you go online or like a new player goes on and there's just like, it's like, oh, I'm getting an era, and they get a composite one, and it's actually a Firebird. Joke's on you.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Yeah, for real. Ryan, you sent me something about talking about team format for professional disc golf. Give us your take on that, and what's your idea for that? Because I'm very intrigued by that topic. By the way, I like that.
Man, I think it could be cool. So something interesting happened in professional pickleball like a few years ago. So the PPA existed, and that was like the Professional Pickleball Association. And this guy came around, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to make Major League Pickleball, and I'm going to make it team format disc golf or team format pickleball. And I'm going to create franchises. I'm going to do all these things. And he was adversarial to the PPA, so it wasn't like a welcome thing that was happening. And then his formula for the franchise was like a money man, a celebrity, and that was it. And they went around selling these franchises, and they created so much hype and put so much eyes on it. And there was like a time there post-COVID where like pickleball was like everywhere, and that was this. You heard about Drew Brees, LeBron James, all these people getting involved with pickleball, and I was like, man, what an interesting concept that is. You create these franchises for seemingly like basically like an individual sport, and they have doubles and stuff as well. But they were able to create like a format that worked. They were able to create some like franchise loyalty, and they ended up merging with the PPA, and it was just so like, I was like, so here's this guy that all he had was an idea, and then he got some soft commits, and then he got some hard commits, and then he was able to essentially, he's a shareholder for professional pickleball now, whether it's MLP or PPA. But it's just such an interesting concept that can happen. And I was like, well, what would it look like to do that with disc golf, and a viewpoint where it's like, obviously we're not adversarial with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. It would, we would never make a move that would seemingly hurt or take away from the Disc Golf Pro Tour. But I was like, how could you build that hand in hand with the tour? What is it?
I said, why not?
I heard something.
Well, I'm thinking we could just do what Live Golf does. Like they have a team of 5 guys, I think is what it is. And like everyone plays individually, and then you have your team of 5 guys. So it would be like a team championship at the end of the year, and then individual championship at the end of the year for disc golf.
Yeah, my take on it is like, continue the Pro Tour as is. Have the Elite Series, do the entire individual thing the way you do it. That's a good product, and all the infrastructure is built to support it. So I would never want to change that. All I would want to do is, so how, like, imagine I don't know how to explain this. So imagine you're a taco shop and you just make tacos all day, and you're really good at making tacos, and people like your tacos, they support your tacos. And then you take a look around, you're like, okay, I have every ingredient I need to also make burritos. So I look at the Disc Golf Pro Tour, I'm like, dude, they're making some good tacos. But if I just do this one thing, uh, they could possibly make burritos as well. So let's just forget I said that. But that's the concept, is like, how could you overlay
That's
something
such a
over
good
the
analogy.
existing
Such a good analogy.
Great analogy.
how can you overlay a product over the existing infrastructure? And it's all about diversifying your products. You remember how earlier I was talking about, we don't want our flagship product to have to do the heavy lifting for the entire our product line, or all the needs that we need. So we put some of the load on this product and some of the load on this product, and we make it so nobody has to do all the lifting. So with the Pro Tour, I mean, think about how much goes into it. And somebody said, why not, earlier, about like, why wouldn't you want to go against the Pro Tour? Because the Pro Tour does an amazing job. So the Pro Tour is like a small business, and how long ago where we didn't have any access to disc golf at all other than post produced, and now they have this infrastructure where they are like building their livelihood off of this, and it's creating a platform so multiple players can go make 7 figures a deal with one sponsorship. So the Pro Tour, I feel like their job is to create a platform, and it's up to the players to become the best that they can be, which they are doing. The talent is incredible. And then, so where does the onus lie? And honestly, I think it's on everybody else. The Pro Tour's done enough, and they keep doing your thing, keep growing, keep building everything, and strengthen your platform. But I think it's on everybody else to kind of like say, hey, what can we do? They have this great platform. How can I go into it and make this whole thing better? So I think team format disc is my own little version of that. Of this is a big swing. It's probably not going to go anywhere. But I've thought it out. I've tried to poke holes in it and try to figure out like how can this reach the finish line. And the odds are it won't. But it's a really cool concept. It's really fun. I love the idea of franchises. I love the idea of head-to-head matchups. I love the idea of breaking up the regular season, so it's not just hey, we're playing this course and it's same people again. Like, it kind of changes it up. I love the idea of having fun with it. I love the idea of introducing coaches. Can't imagine anything more fun than seeing like Ken Climo's team versus Scott Stokely's team, and them battling it out in the championships, and limited throws and things like that. It all sounds like a whole lot of fun to me, and something I would love to watch. But it's hard to get all that stuff real,
Yeah. I like the concept of team format. I love live golf with the idea of having a team, and then whatever the case may be with competing. I love team competing stuff in general. So excuse me. I like the idea. I don't know how you mix that in with the Pro Tour. I mean, we're assuming we're using the pro players to be a part of this, right?
Yeah, you'd have to. Brother, my computer's about to die. Can I go grab my charger and I'll be right back to hop back on this?
Do whatever you need, man.
I'll be back.
Corey's like 7 minutes late. It's okay. So
Get wrecked, Corey.
I know. I just find it funny because Corey is like, yeah,
No,
he
it's
was
so,
like,
it's so funny to us because you are the only one that's not delayed. You in the live.
Yeah.
So like everyone
To
else
us-
is getting everything 3 seconds later.
It's a
Yeah.
decade.
that's so weird now.
To us,
sorry.
you're it looks like you're interrupting him because
Yeah.
he's still talking, and you're
I'm
like,
being
yeah, but
so-
like, what about this? And he's like halfway through a sentence.
You're the only connection we have to him.
Am I good on
Yeah,
live?
live.
Or am
It
I
looks
interrupting
it as
him on
far as
live?
No, on the bars, at least for the audio, I mean, it looks fine. But no, I mean, while Brixton's gone, I'll just go ahead or Ryan's gone. I've been spiraling about this ever since he mentioned it. And like, I totally agree that I think it can highlight a couple things that like everyone asked for. Like everybody wants like a manufacturer's cup or like a manufacturer's v manufacturer's
We need
thing, which
that.
I think that this could build so
We
much
need
hype
that.
around that. And then even like it makes me think of like, you know, I'm pretty into like a few different esports, and a lot of that is like, what if, you know, Discraft, Innova, all them like make a jersey, and then the sales of that helps crowdfund like a championship at the end where like, you know, hey, come rep your
Yeah.
favorite team. It adds straight to the prize pool if they win. Like that's one thing that could be huge for that. And two, I think obviously if it's, you know, a team challenge, if it's mixed, it gets more eyes on FPO by default, because, you know, I think that viewership in FPO is something that we're always kind of striving to improve. And, you know, if you get Team Discraft and Paul and Holland are playing, or Paul and Missy, like I'm going to tune into that and see what's happening. And I mean, I think it would be great to put a bit more impetus on the manufacturers to like, hey, here's another reason we need to sign good talent, like have good players, because we don't want to go get wrecked at the team challenge at the end of the year.
Yeah, imagine every company comes up with their own jersey and then they do their manufacturer's cup with that. I mean, that would
Yeah, it would
be
be sick.
electric.
I think manufacturers would
Everybody,
be cool.
chance
I
to
think
go
it's
on,
one angle.
GPT.com and buy the Discraft shirt. Sorry.
But I do think it limits you. So I think it kind of puts you in a box of limitations that you don't necessarily need. But it does create some complications elsewhere. But I think, remember how earlier I was saying like you got to take the same ingredients and make a different product. So it's the same courses, it's the same players, it's the same staff. It's the same volunteers. It's the same ticketing. It's the same broadcasting network. It's the same everything. It's just kind of repackaged different. I think it's important when you look at this is like the format, like the actual format of the competition. Like, how does that work? You know, so I think it's important that that's very well thought out, and I won't go into like all the details of that, but that's a vital part of it, making sure it all works, all makes sense, and it creates this opportunity for fireworks, magic. You know, it's like when you watch the Holy Shot documentary. There's a gentleman on there who he goes through and he explains how hole 18 comes down and it funnels in and, you know, to the green, and you can see him like he created this opportunity, you know, for magic to happen. So I think that's what it's all about, is just creating an opportunity for a different type of magic to happen, whether it's the personalities or there's just so much that can come of it.
Yeah. To kind of change gears for a moment, Ryan, you were telling me about the way manufacturers measure growth is different than how everyone else measures growth. Explain that to us.
I don't know about like everyone else. Excuse me. If I'm a manufacturer and I'm running a business, I know if I have a new customer, that new customer is going to buy maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 discs that first year. That second year, it might even go up. It might stay the same. I don't know the numbers. Not a manufacturer. But at some point, that the journey of that customer is going to have a huge dip in purchasing disc. So when you have like something like COVID, where so many new players are coming and they're filling out their entire bag and they're learning about that flight, the flight numbers that some of us like and some of us don't like, they're exploring that space and they're spending money as they do it. to learn all those things. So a new customer coming in is going to spend a lot more money than an old customer that's been here, that has a closet full of disc and is trading with buddies, and it's just the buying habits. So when you have all those people come in at 2020 and they're the most likely to buy disc, and then that landscape changes over the next few years, there's going to be a big downturn if you don't kind of see that coming. And I'm sure plenty of manufacturers saw it coming, especially ones that have been around for a while that have maybe seen a bump or two here or there. But yeah, everybody's talking about cutbacks, and we can't spend as much on players, we can't do this, we can't do that, because disc golf's not growing and disc golf's not doing this, and or at the pace that it was, which is true, but I don't think everybody measures disc golf that way. Like, how many new customers are coming in to buy a bunch of new discs? I think there's probably better ways, more accurate ways to measure the growth of disc golf.
So, and this is kind of like a question for the group too. I was just thinking about, like, how do you get someone to continually keep buying discs as a customer? Is it coming up with a new disc all the time, or is there another I don't know, idea of how you get somebody to maybe commit to your company, or to keep buying disc at a certain rate? I don't know how to ask that exactly.
I think for me,
I think the question.
like,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry, we've got a delay on our end, so my fault. No, I was just gonna say, really quickly, I think for me as a manufacturer, it's more so. There needs to be more innovation. Like, Innova has put out, hey, this is a less stable destroyer every year for the past 4 years, I feel like. Whereas, at least stuff like, when the Rolo came out, it was really unique and really sick.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more stuff like that. Like, we need to be pushing the boundary more instead of just niching down the niche. Like, hey, this is a destroyer with a bead on it, or hey, this is a destroyer that's really light. Like, there's just we have enough destroyers. I think we need to start doing something a little bit different. And I totally agree with what Ryan's saying. I think there's better ways that we can think about the growth of the sport than active PDGA members even. We're people that talk every week about disc golf, and I think the overwhelming narrative is how much disc golf has shrunk since COVID. But even then, in the past year, I have 3 more courses I can play within half an hour from me. I feel like new courses are going in all the time. Finland just passed 1,000 courses in there, in Finland, I'm pretty sure, which is crazy because Finland's small. But there's definitely, I think, different metrics that we can track. Unfortunately, I think us being less connected to UDisc hurts that, because UDisc is the ones that have a lot of data for that kind of stuff. But I think it's a lot less doom and gloom than a lot of people make it out to be.
Sorry, I was just giving a moment because I know you guys are
Yeah.
behind. So I didn't want to start saying something and cut anyone off. Ryan, you've been on for almost an hour with us, man, so I don't want to keep you on too much longer. Do you have any other things that you wanted to bring up, or any other comments or anything you wanted to say before we let you go?
Oh no, just thanks for having me. This
Man.
was a good time. I appreciate the y'all having me on and letting me talk for so long and hearing my crazy ideas all the time.
Yeah, man. I think that's what's so great about, we already mentioned this. That's what's so great about our Discord, is that people, like yourself or any of us, will start saying something, and who knows, then it becomes a long conversation in the Discord between a couple of us. And I know, there's been a couple lately that I haven't participated in, but I've definitely read all of them. And I think it's awesome that everyone's, what I love about that personally is that it seems like a lot of people care, which is cool. And a lot of us are creators in the game. And so hopefully we're pushing the game to be better all around in various ways. And I think you're obviously in a very unique position where you're pushing the game with cards. And I think a lot of people are getting excited about that. So I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for the game of disc golf, with just creating cards, creating another way to connect to the game. because that's pretty much what it is, a different way to connect to disc golf. So it's been really cool.
I've got some ideas for you, Ryan. So I'll shoot you a text after this.
I'm excited to hear them, guys. Well, seriously, appreciate it. Very.
You're good, man. Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks a ton for stopping in.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was just thinking, you know what I was thinking, Tyler? As you were saying that, it's so funny. We used to go in the private Discord and argue in detail or talk in detail about our random ideas, and now it's so far past that other people, not even including us sometimes, get to argue their random ideas.
I love it,
with
man.
Other people in our Discord. So that's just awesome. But
Yeah, it's cool. And I'm hoping the weekly challenge continues to grow and we'll keep pushing that as well. So speaking of weekly challenge, let's talk about the one we just accomplished pretty much the last 2 weeks. So we did a weekly speed challenge of 32 now. So you could choose up to as many discs as you wanted, up to 32. It seems like we all took a very similar idea of we're going to use exact same ones we just used, and let's add in a 12 or 13 speed into that.
Not at all. Not at all,
I was
boy.
gonna say I didn't do that, but I did the exact same discs, and then I threw a Firebird in there. So I took a 9 speed in there.
Maybe I was maybe I was wrong, but I thought like everyone threw in a faster speeded driver into what we're already throwing. That's pretty much what I think I did. I threw in.
Yeah.
So you're just talking about yourself.
No,
And Taylor,
I mean,
Taylor.
I put in a
Taylor
I was
did.
gonna say I put in a 13 speed and I didn't take an approach disc was kind of how I managed the change in numbers. I'll tell you right now that was a mistake. That didn't go very well for me. I definitely had a very up and down round. I'll call it the Kevin Jones round. There was not a lot of pars. There was a lot of birdies and there was a lot of bogeys. I very much missed the approach disc for sure, 100%. And I also, so originally when I planned my bag, I was going to go to a different course that required more distance shots, but then I just didn't have as much time as I thought, so I went to the one closest to me, which there's a couple holes that like probably realistically one hole that I would really use the 13 speed on. But I figured I had it, so I tried to make it work on a few other more wooded kind of par threes just to see what happened. I got in really bad spots on those holes. I'll just say that you can get into some very interesting places on the course with a 13 speed driver.
Yeah, I went to a completely different course because I knew I could not go back to the same course and shoot the exact same score or better. So I was like, all right, not even going to put any expectations out there and go to a different course. So I went to another one that I played pretty well at. And I took a more overstable forehand disc that I don't normally throw. I took my Savior instead of the MX1 that I don't really know as well. So I really struggled with throwing some of those shots because I just wasn't familiar with. But the weekend, was it the weekend before? Yeah, the weekend before I played with a bunch of guys and I could not putt, but I could not miss a throw. Well, this challenge, I could not throw the disc, but I made every single play.
So relatable.
I think I just wanted to make sure I get the stats right. I'm pretty sure I was 50% from circle 2. And I had
That's impressive.
I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That can't be right, but maybe it is. I had 7, 6. No.
It's not right. No, it is actually.
Well, how do you get 50% from 7? So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
That
6.
bad.
No, it was 6. I think it was 6. So yeah, I made like 3 I guess I made 3. 1. I don't know. Anyways, I made a bunch of circle 2. My stats say circle 2 putting 50%. I was 88% putting from C1X. So I think I missed 1. So anyways, I don't even know. All I know is I think 4 discs are enough and you don't need to add another one to the mix. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, math, exactly. So that's what I got about that. Corey, what's your roundabout?
I played really good.
Nice.
I threw the composite era, which is a different disc than the forged era. I don't know why, but it is. It's very overstable compared to the other one. I threw that. I still had the torque, and then I bagged a sector, the warp, and a surf, an ice surf. So I was putting with premium plastic,
Again,
which did not affect me because my putting was amazing.
that's what I see here.
I did miss some C2s, but it was like a lot of those were just layups because this course was pretty insane. It's one of the newer courses near us. It's roughly an hour from me. I ended up picking up Mac, and he played it for the first time as well, which was awesome because he did not do well, and it was great to see.
Shout out.
Yep, it was a great time to see. He does have a brand new bag, so he was throwing all brand new plastic, and then a brand new course where he didn't really know where half of the baskets were. So I can't blame him, but it is convenient that every single time we go out and play, he's not playing up to his goodness, which we know he can do.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. But yeah, so I ended up throwing and playing with that bag, and it was kind of in like, okay, so the reason I said that it's not what you were talking about, where we took just like the generic last set of 20 and then added a driver, because I did
added in an era though.
but I removed the pipeline, and like there was differences. I basically took the original bag and just bulked it up, so I had like a more overstable approach disc.
That's what I did
In the
Yeah.
warp, I had the era. The composite era is so good for forehands too. It's like a very pushing forehand that can kind of flex around. I threw a flex forehand on a hole that we usually do backhand, and I got to like edge of circle, which was amazing because I've never gotten that close. So that was a fun that was a fun round. I'm excited to see what we do next.
Yeah, I'll
I hope
wrap
it's
up my
one.
round really quickly with the stat of I shot 3 strokes worse than when I had 4 discs, but I made 3 more birdies than in that round.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm not going to be the same because I played a different course, but just to put it into perspective, I shot 3 under and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 birdies. So I will say 2 of my bogeys were rollaways. So
I did have a 60-footer that I almost
Yeah.
made that led to a 50-footer that I missed and went from birdie to bogey real quick. But yeah,
Oh, man.
overall, I can't say I played bad. It was just much more of a roller coaster. So I think that was just what got me mentally.
Yeah, I also hit like on hole 8 that I bogeyed. I just had like a little like upshot approach with the Savior, and it skipped the one dirt patch in front of the basket and skipped it like 30 deep. So that kind of screwed me up on a bogey. And then the other bogey was I just early released. I threw the sorry, I didn't put my list of discs, but I added the DGA prototype driver. And I was not ready for that driver, for the feeling of it. I wasn't ready for it because I didn't know the feeling of it. I didn't know like how I needed to grip it. And I had an early release on that hole and it just screwed me from the whole way on. So anyways, I felt like all my bogeys were definitely avoidable. And I felt like I could have easily shot like 6, 7, 8 under, which would have been a really, really good round. So, but it happens.
Okay.
So, anyone else have any more comments?
Matthew Marsh DG.
Oh my goodness. No comments except I did record the front 9 of this challenge. I put my challenge up. I forgot to put it up. I shot 5 or 4 over, but I finished the front 9 one under, and then proceeded to 5 over the back 9. And luckily that footage doesn't exist because my phone started dying. But I
Why is there always something?
This phone
because it was
is on its last
25.
legs.
It was 25 degrees. No, I got a new phone.
Oh, just wait.
I
Wait.
got
His
a
next
phone.
excuse is, well, I was throwing standstill.
Oh,
He's throwing
that I
sonos
know.
up. He just couldn't.
I
film
know.
anymore.
Yeah, but no. So I played, and it was like 25 degrees in the first like 6 holes. I'm just shanking shots. Like I literally cannot throw anything flat because I'm so cold. And then after that, just magically I can throw shots again. And so I threw them until I got like halfway through the back 9, and then just took some fat L's. But I just put a Firebird in there because if you guys were to play my home course, like Tyler would throw a Firebird everywhere on that thing because you could literally throw it on every single hole and just like guarantee the easiest birdie of your life, and like 3/4 of them are reachable from me with a Firebird.
So it work?
So a torque, yes, exactly, a torque. Like there's multiple holes where if you do not have like a flex forehand disc, you're just cooked. That's the end of your time on that hole. There's like 5 holes like that. So
Yeah.
I just threw a Firebird in there, but didn't throw it amazing.
I want to shout out Mac real quick because I just saw his comment saying this challenge taught me that the katana flight numbers are fraudulent. And then I went and saw his reel. That is not a katana flight at all, because I threw a katana when we were in the, Charlotte when it was pouring down rain, and that katana did have some. It did have some. It wasn't in my opinion.
It's a minus 3-3.
But it flips.
It
flips up, but then it does fade. Yeah. I would say those flight numbers.
Katana with a cow on it that was so overstable. This was also when I was 17 years old, so take that.
Yeah,
for
now,
what it is, but...
I will say to Mac, I think it was a white katana that he was throwing. The white disc from Innova are the most stable, in my opinion, that I've thrown. That and green, for whatever reason, those two colors have been the most stables.
That's why flight numbers are fraudulent.
Dude, flight numbers are not accurate. It's just a basis. That's what it is.
Well, okay. Now I'm about to send in the Discord.
Oh no!
What is a better version of a
shout out to Discord?
If you haven't joined our Discord, you get to have arguments.
If you haven't had enough of hearing about it,
if you would like to talk to people other than us.
Actually, Corey's system makes so much sense, man.
It could be worse. We could be doing ads every 5 minutes for products that we will never use.
Boom.
I have been doing ads.
Hit 'em with it.
I've been putting them in our reels. You guys haven't been seeing that?
Like better health? Nope, never going to use that.
I want my health to be worse, actually.
Yeah,
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah,
I want to be
our Discord.
That's why I joined the Discord.
It's crazy because it's actually not better health, it's better help, but that's cool too. Tyler just invented a new company.
Hey, we got to trademark that.
Better health
So
is
I
like
get the trademark.
getting healthier. Better health is.
By the way, so two
being a
things.
therapist.
I'm sure there's a better health out there somewhere.
Probably.
We have two things we need to do. One, we need to figure out our flight numbers or our flight. I have another challenge in mind, but I'm not ready to share it with the group.
Oh,
first,
I do.
You know what,
actually.
Taylor, can you throw that on the screen?
I can actually. I have the ability to do that.
It's our flight numbers. It's our new version of flight numbers.
So while Taylor is figuring that out, what I think we'll just have to do is spin the wheel for a speed challenge for one more, well, I guess technically 2 more weeks. But then I'm going to do a new challenge on Wednesday that I want to try. So, all right. So Corey, explain this a little bit for the masses.
Okay. So I think that the flight numbers themselves aren't bad. It's just every company has slightly different ways of getting it. So for this, you would have a letter, either a lowercase or an uppercase of whatever type of disc. So putter, a capital P would be a 2, lowercase p would be a 1. You would have to have a 3 and a 4 be an approach, which should be, but a lot of people say putter, whatever. Hybrid would be 9 and 10. So a Raptor, a Firebird, those would be a lowercase h technically. And then in that letter will be surrounded by basically a diamond. The first diamond is kind of hollowed out, and that would be the equivalent of 0, 0. And then anything looking on the left side for more arrows would be the stability, and anything on the right would be your turn.
I kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie.
You can see that an understable disc -2, 1 would turn before it would fade, but then an overstable 0, 3, you wouldn't have anything on the right. It would just be dumping, and it would be a visual cue to say, "Hey, this is dumpy." And then if you look on the example for the Marvel, the putter, you can see where it says like right back, left forehand. And then if you flip it upside down, it says right forehand, left backhand.
Question.
That way, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done, Corey.
I was going to say that way it doesn't matter which direction you're reading it. If you flip it upside down, you still get the same, like.
So if it's stamped on the disc with the P to the bottom and then I flip it over, the disc is now very understable.
So my question is this: it's going to take a company to use this and see if it will change the game. What company should do this and see if it picks up traction?
LLC.
Listen,
realistically,
I'm
it would
all
have
for doing this stamp on every one of my discs with unfinished business, and when people ask me about it, I can let them know. I'm totally down for this.
We'll be able to do that for our custom discs, but realistically, it would have to be something like Innova,
That's not happening.
Discraft, or MVP.
Maybe MVP.
Yeah.
MVP's a good one, or Prodigy. They got to throw something at the wall. Nothing's working.
Prodigy, no. I mean, they don't have followers.
Might as well try it out. They got nothing working for them, brother. So they're
They
selling
got something-
75%
they got something
off
working
their
for 'em.
whole-
I don't.
A tiny bit, Corey. That's true. I know what you're talking about. A good amount, but
How do you? Can you safeguard this idea? I mean, I don't know. Do you want to safeguard it, or do you just want to? I mean, get it out there at this point. I don't know.
I feel like I'm missing some. They got one thing working for them. What's Prodigy got, man?
can't speak about at the moment, but
Join the Discord.
join the Discord.
In the Discord.
Somebody let an naysayer know in the Discord, man.
In all honesty, if anybody wants to adopt this, do it. Like I'd rather see it than be like, no, you're not allowed to use this.
That's
Copyright
mine.
infringement. Yeah, like I don't care.
I don't even think you can copyright it. Like that's what I'm saying.
Whoa, you can copyright anything.
Copyright
Okay.
if you want.
All right, let's do this real quick because I have two
Didn't you
things-
copyright something?
Buddy.
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm
That's
gonna
such a
get
good
there.
segue.
I'm gonna get there. Wait. I was gonna say something. All right. So Matt has no idea yet, which is awesome. All right. So we have to choose a new speed challenge, and then we can come up with some new challenges. We'll decide in our Discord what we're going to do.
Do you guys know that we have a Discord?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right. What's a
It's only $1 a month.
I saw in the comments
I've
of
been
somebody.
paying 10.
Shut up. So I saw in the comments that somebody does this speed challenge as like a speed limit. So do we want to do like 15, 25, 35, 45, 55?
Oh, I kind of like that.
And
Speed
we'll
limit.
do
Oh,
as
you're
well
saying like actual road speed limits.
Yeah. Someone was like, yeah, that's what we did. Like for a tournament, we'd say the speed limit is, it was in increments of 5. Don't know why, but so we can do 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, or we
Raise your
can
hand if you've hit a car with a disc.
Or if you go
I think I
over-
have. I think I hit a tire.
If you go on the north
hit
side
my
of the Zilwaukee Bridge, 75.
Whoa. I don't like going to the north
I would
side.
be curious to know if my bag itself is over 75 speed total.
So we've done.
Good. We should all add those up.
I'm interested to see.
We've done 20 and 32. Do we want to eliminate 35 because it's pretty close?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna
Can I-
put in. Should I
can I
just
ask
How
a
many
question
how many
for-
distance drivers do you have in your
What?
bag?
3.
I've
You're
got
already
three.
at like 30. You're already at like
That's true.
almost
That
40.
adds up quick.
Yeah.
That adds up quick.
Can I ask a
Not a
question
math
to
guy.
only?
Math is not in my name.
Can I ask a question to only Taylor?
Hello?
Do you
Hey,
feel
Tyler,
like
what do you want to
challenge
talk about right now?
that-
'Cause
Hey,
you
why
don't
is
really
Matt
need
late
more
every week?
to this?
That's so facts.
But do you ever like you're the one with the most limited courses, me and you. Do you feel like you can just like is there a course that's really pushing anything above like that 32 mark?
Yeah, I could go to a course
Okay.
where I would need more.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
Tyler's gone.
Sorry, no, I'm here. I'm just was
Yeah.
trying to do this thing.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
please.
Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Can you see it?
I can't
Okay,
see
here-
you anymore, but I can't.
I'm
see
just
the wheel.
choosing. That's fine. Here we go. Let's see
And
which
he's
one we're
spinning the
doing.
wheel.
We do need a certified math guy on this podcast.
45. So we're just adding more discs to the bag for no reason. And
I will.
all right, so 45 is the new speed. Matt, put it in the Discord. 45 is the new speed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're the weekly challenge, dude.
No,
want
no,
a weekly
I'm down.
challenge
I'm
guy.
down. I'm down.
Yeah. Okay, so two things we want to talk about, and I think we need to wrap up the episode. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just counting. I also have a game.
Oh.
So
Oh
We're
my
both the
gosh,
math
I didn't know we
guy.
had a
We're the
game.
math guy.
All right, here, let me talk about the two things, and then we'll finish with the game. I think that would be
we can do it.
a
It'll be
nice-
quick. It'll be quick.
Cool. So one thing is, I can't remember the second one,
Can
but I
you guys
remember the
see-
first
I
one.
can't see Tyler anymore.
Oh,
Oh,
am
really?
I gone? Am I
No,
gone?
I see him
I
just
think
fine.
everybody could see you but me specifically.
Oh.
You're good. Just go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. We have decided to put together some merchandise for people to buy based off of our show. So we will put a link on Instagram and we'll put it in all of our bios where if you want to go get some of our merch, you're more than happy to go buy some merch. We feel like it's pretty cheap compared to other people. So if you want to rep us, you're more than happy to. One of the things we want to feature is we like to say parks for par. So we got a couple different apparel items you can get that say park for par on it, and a couple items that have park for par. And then there's a fun little description below that talks about what does that even mean.
Yep. And then as of tonight, there will be a shirt that says UFB needs a math guy. Because apparently we do.
Love that. We need a math guy.
Yeah, so
An
that's something
abacus in the
to
background.
be excited about. And then also, I just want to let you know as well, one of the fun things is I wanted to make sure that we lock down this park for par. So I am now the sole owner and trademark owner of Parks for Par in the United States of
So
America.
How
funny.
much did that cost?
Don't worry about that. All you need to
Don't
know
you
is
worry
that
about that.
I own it. So, you know,
We're being chilling. That's crazy. That's hilarious.
yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm surprised that no one in all of like golf or disc golf at some
That is
point has
surprising.
never-
I checked everywhere before I went and got the trademark too, and I was like, and no one owns a trademark, and I was like, it's mine now, and so
Would
I
you
bought it.
say parked for golf?
No.
Like,
No, you wouldn't
not really a
really.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I
true.
had thought about that the second I said it. I was like,
That's
that
kinda-
doesn't make much sense for.
that's kind of a disc golf.
Scott, it was a little more than $25, but yeah,
Yeah, he
it
can't eat
wasn't.
for the rest of the week.
$25,000.
Scott.
He's very happy.
wha-
He's going to his.
Whoa, 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 unrelated. Why is Scott? Scott, how many trademarks do you have?
What's Scott trademark you?
Scott says last time he did it was $25. Buddy, how many have you been doing? Someone look up
Hey,
this
don't
guy's
worry,
name.
don't
Let's
worry.
get a list.
He's got
All right,
some
all right,
stuff.
Sorry, continue.
Got some
Corey, sorry.
intellectual property, man.
I was just trying.
His last name is literally Cash. So
That's facts.
Cash money.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember the other thing that I was going to share.
yeah, you told us.
You said two, so that was two.
No, that wasn't the second one. It was something else, but I don't remember. So, I remember where I was going to share. This has nothing to do with number 2, but I was going to share it. I got a chance, and I'll share it really quickly. I got a chance to throw all of the People's Drivers today.
Whoa, Max,
And-
Tyler, hurry! He's copywriting unfinished business.
Oh my
We got
God.
erased.
No.
No, don't worry. Scott said he tried to start a clothing company about 15 years ago. $25 plus inflation is like
Yeah, that's up there.
$30,000 right now. So
That's actual facts.
yeah,
Yeah, it was more than 25. That's all I'll say. But
27.
Between 25 and 2,500.
Let's
I
just
did the-
say he could have bought a new general with that cost point.
Yeah, at least.
the general. I did the People's Challenge. So I did the Enigma. I did the Birdie, Reach. I did the Zeus. I did the new
Second, I
DG8.
thought you meant the birdie, like the putter.
I know. I did the new DG8 prototype driver that came out for Katrina Allen, and I also did I'm missing the other one.
What do you think the name's going to be for that?
The Swirl Destroyer. I'll just go ahead. I mean, I'm gonna create a video of this, but I'm gonna share my results here. I so badly did not want to be a bias towards the DGA prototype driver. It is very, very good. What I noticed was I can throw the furthest with it because it has the most glide out of all the drivers, and I actually really like that. And what I really loved was it would do a nice S turn, but it would always finish. The thing I found about the Enigma and the Zeus is that it was unreliable. If it caught a little bit of wind, and it would never come back. The Birdie Reach was very consistent and got good distance, but was a little too stable. I wouldn't consider it being the people's driver with getting that same nice S flight. The closest thing was this World Destroyer, but I was just able to get more distance and be more consistent with the DGA prototype. And I don't even love that plastic. My favorite feel was the Destroyer. But I think the prototype driver, now I'm worried that in the end I make the video and then they say that's an 11 speed, which I think might happen. But for the time being, they called it the people's driver. So yeah, I like that disc the most out of all the ones I threw. And I was not even trying to be biased towards DGA, but it's a good disc because it does an S turn and it always finishes. So that's just where I'm at. Just thought I'd share that real quick. All right, Taylor, what's your game?
All right, so I wanted to get back to a little bit of just something a little bit more fun, a little bit more chaotic. We've been deep in the stats, we've been nerding out. So we got a pretty simple game tonight. It's a game where you want a lower score, so the lower your score is, the better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to DM you a disc on Discord, just the name of a disc. It is then your job to help your co-hosts guess the disc that you have. You cannot say the name of the disc.
Really like
and you cannot say the manufacturer. And we're going one word or phrase. We'll say one phrase at a time. So like one phrase. So obviously, you also get points for being a good describer. So if I gave Corey the disc, the Cenis, and he says one word that isn't the manufacturer or the disc, and Matt gets it right away. Matt gets 1 point. Corey gets 1 point. So just the longer we go on here, just the more the points add up, and you want your score to be lower. I'm not going to say that we're going to take turns per se, because I think I do want a little bit of chaos, but you can't just sit here and just like rattle off disc names like one after the other. But, okay. If Tyler's sitting here paused for a second, you go ahead and start. Just,
so
throw another guess
you're
in
saying if you give us a disc company, we got to give you a disc name for that company?
Not at all.
Bro,
No, he's given us the disc name. We have to describe it without using the name or the manufacturer name.
Yeah.
And who's guessing?
We're all guessing for
Everyone else.
I've got a disc, and I
So
need
dry
you guys
run.
to guess my
I
disc.
DM myself the Firebird,
Are you?
and then I say
What?
Nate Sexton, and Corey says, "Oh, Firebird." We both get 1 point.
Got it.
I said you really aren't the math guy, aren't you?
To be honest with you, I missed the first 5 seconds because I looked down on my phone. That's a bad podcast move by me.
That'll get you every time. Does anybody want to be the descriptor first?
Me.
Gotcha.
Dang.
I picked out discs individually for all of you just now. I hope you're not mad at me. So, Corey, there's yours. The floor is yours.
Okay.
That one got
Why did
Taylor.
I just
That's
take a
too
drink?
far for Taylor. Okay, guys.
that was what I was gonna say for that one.
That's so good. All right, it's my bad.
Okay. How many? So we're doing phrase or
Yeah, I'll say a phrase. So just like a
Okay.
sentence at a time.
abilities in Star Wars.
Force.
That would, just absolutely incredible.
Come on, Matt.
Dude,
Come on,
man.
man.
I'm really good at these kind of games.
I had to like pause for a second because I was like, wait, is it this
Well,
obvious?
I was like Discraft
Yes.
Force, and then I also was like, that's kind of, what is he? I don't know.
Nah, don't even. Just say I smoked you. It's okay, dude. I get it.
No. Come on now.
It
Come on
happens.
now. Bro, look
All right,
down
Matt,
his phone for
Matt,
5
you're up
seconds.
next. You're up
Stop.
next.
Okay.
Coming
Go
in
for
hot.
it. Oh, I'm so ready. Ooh. Tyler doesn't classify this as a straight mid-range.
Rock 3.
Buzz.
So now what
All right,
happens?
so
Hold
I'll
on.
say so. Matt goes again, but now the points are higher. So like when you get it and Matt gets it, you have 2 points for this one.
Okay.
So
No,
the
I was
lower
trying to
the
get
better.
obvious without being ridiculously obvious, but I have to go there. This disc has a unique technology that only one company really does.
X.
Yep.
Is it X?
Oh man.
Tyler
Yeah.
goes, I need a straight mid range. This isn't a straight mid range.
Rock 3 and Hex, same thing at this point.
Also, the lower score matters thing is so broken because Matt is in the gets the better of just not answering for the first one. So
Yeah.
just forget my point
This is
structure.
for love of
Yeah,
the game.
you know, this was for the love of the game, right?
Well, you wanted chaos.
I did want chaos. Tyler,
Maybe start it as like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Matt, lock on here.
Scott said never seen Star Wars. Scott, you have some work
That's
to do
tough.
after this
That's
podcast.
tough.
Okay, so I can't say the company, right? That's it.
Correct.
Or,
Or the name of the disc.
name.
What about pros?
Pros are fine.
Okay. I could just say this pros disc, couldn't I? And that would
No,
be
that's outside the love of the game.
I think after 3 guesses, you could
Yeah,
do
that's
something
fine.
stupid like that.
okay.
Max, shut your
All
mouth.
right. Ricky Waisaki's weapon.
Felon.
Oh, no.
No?
He's actually used those words before for this disc.
Felon.
No. Not a felon.
It can't be the general.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, they did a video of him blowing up baskets with it. What do you want?
He's not
from me?
wrong. Technically
Yeah,
a weapon
that's
of mass
true.
destruction.
Not a knife, but
That plays. I like that.
thank you.
Dagger.
Oh my goodness.
I was gonna use that the first time, but I thought if I said Ricky's weapon, Ricky says his main weapons has always been the dagger.
Oh, I had like 2 thoughts in my head when you
Yeah.
said not a knife, but and I was like, not a knife, but a harp. That makes no
Wait,
sense.
hold on.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like, oh,
Not a knife, but a slammer. That makes no sense.
So we can leave it at 1 round. Or you guys want to go again?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm
Let's keep going. Come on.
This is fun.
Don't give me Onyx or Cenis. Give me another one.
I actually
can't-
just messaged Corey Onyx too. That's so funny. Well, let me think of another disc here. You know what? Here you go. You can take this one.
We
Okay.
stay locked, Ryan. We're on this thing.
Okay. Let's see. The most hated bullfrog.
What the frig?
Yep. Think about it very, very carefully. The most hated, comma, bullfrog. You'd have to know this disc for
This
you to
is so
like, get
zesty.
it.
Yeah, Corey was chefing me up and making me laugh in the DM, so I gave him a tough one on purpose. That's my fault. But that's actually so we got to keep going.
Most hated bullfrog.
Most hated, comma,
Mac
bullfrog.
knows. Mac knows.
Max says he knows, but how does he know? How does he know he knows?
What is the most? What? Okay, what's the most hated?
Nico Lacastro. You talking about a disc?
Yes,
I
but
know.
what is the most hated in disc golf?
Berg?
No, not the disc. Maybe the brand.
I don't know, man.
Bro, what in the
Okay,
world?
Texas frog.
Oh, horny toad.
Let's go. We got there, baby.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Lone Star disc.
Is there like, isn't that their overstable approach disc? or am
Yeah,
I
it's like
crazy?
their zone.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah. That is actually a hilarious guess to give Corey to kind of chef through.
I mean, I got it in 2. That's good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was a bad effort at all. Oh my goodness. This is interesting.
Matt full on getting bullied by everyone. I love it.
Yeah. Chill, Mac. Chill.
P3X.
Can we, wait, while we're making shirts, can we just have Matt's face on a shirt that just says "Suck it, Matt"?
PX3.
Yes, we need that.
Wait, unrelated. Brixton didn't sell a single product during that podcast.
That's tough. That's tough. It's because we were all busy. We weren't.
That
there to
is
buy
so
something.
funny. That
Are
is
you sure,
so
or was it
funny.
just your internet?
Oh man. Oh.
right.
The greatest in the world,
Okay.
comma, catch disc. Now I'm
Glitch.
forcing this in. The greatest in the world, comma, catch disc.
I guess
I'm using.
I guess
Corey-
I'm out.
What did you say?
One guy requested a refund.
Tyler said glitch.
Tyler
I
said
said
glitch.
glitch.
It's not glitch. I was trying to get funky with it. I
I
should
know, and I thought maybe
shouldn't
that
have.
would
I like
be
the
it.
vision.
Greatest in the world.
Brixton's looking at the ROIs. Like, actually, we
We
lost
have-
$100.
Ryan, we have that effect on people. Don't worry.
But Ryan, you can buy our merch. It'll make you feel better.
Yeah. Tyler, you can
Greatest in
guess
the
again if
world,
Corey's taking
that's
forever, by the
pissed.
way. There's no rules anymore. You
I
can
would
do
say the
whatever.
pitch. Oh, dude, I don't even know. The greatest would be like Ken Climo or Paul McBeth, but like, what catch disc are they using?
I'm
I
sweating.
see that this is where the better description is coming in play. The greatest player in the world currently, catch disc.
Spur?
Notion?
Wait, Tyler,
Ocean?
could you spell the word you just said?
Oh, not the spur, but the spore.
Oh yeah.
The spur.
The spore.
That's a Lone Star disc.
Yeah, the Lone Star Spur.
Got approved last week, actually.
Spore.
Dang. I was
Yeah.
trying to get a little funky with it instead of saying like, I don't know. You could have said like 4 different things, but their version of the
I
catch
like it.
disc.
I like it. All right,
can
we'll
say
end
beat it,
off to
catch
Tyler. Tyler's the last descriptor here. We'll
All right, buddy.
cut it off here.
The
Bring it on home,
spur?
John B. Rhino.
Another
Hmm.
another name for a good wave.
A surf.
Good wave. Pipeline.
No.
No?
Naming conventions
Is it-
coming to get them.
All right, hold on. A good name for a wave. Swell.
Her name for a good wave.
No. Swell is not a good thing. Well, actually, kind of. Never mind.
For a wave?
Yeah. No. You're right.
Tsunami.
No, dang it.
Tsunami is certainly not a good thing.
All right, hold on.
A name for a good wave.
Yeah.
What does a wave like do?
Crest?
Oh, crap.
It's,
a
it's,
wave?
it's obviously too late for me.
What does a wave do?
Yeah, you just have to save your own dignity here, Tyler.
Oh. Did Brixton help? Is it a curl?
No.
It's not the curl.
That is actually a good guess, by the
That
way.
is a great guess.
Also Lone Star, but that's way too much Lone Star for one Taylor. Way too much Lone
I'm
Star.
actually, my announcement is I'm joining the Ranger team
A
next
good
year.
wave.
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to think of another thing I could say.
Lone Star's plastic is low key good.
Yeah, I know that's kind of.
Can you use it for a different thing, like not waves?
in Lynchburg like 3 weeks ago? Literally 75%
Is
of
it-
the was.
or is
what
it
did you say?
only- Like, is it only used for waves, or is it like a word that could be used for something else too?
Well, I wanted to use that analogy because it obviously is moved towards a certain company who names a lot of their discs
Okay, so
based off that stuff.
Riptide. I don't. I'm trying to think of like words that mean.
Can't even say this. I
Tsunami.
can't even say the style of disc,
Spur,
can
final
I?
answer.
Squall.
I mean, Matt said catch disc, so
No, squall's rain.
Yeah, I know. But I thought maybe Tyler was just dumb.
I
He just called something the spur, bro. I gotta get out there.
Sail? Trying to think of words that mean
it's another name for a good wave. It's what a wave does, kind of ish.
crash.
That's what worries. That's what worries me. That kind of is. You gotta go with something else, Tyler. This is.
I really want to know this.
Yeah, I do too. And
I'm trying to think what else I could say. I don't know, man. I'm at a loss.
It's not the pipeline.
No.
No, nobody
It's
said
not
it yet.
the surf.
I ripped surf off the bat.
It doesn't crash, but it could. I don't know. I can start telling you what kind of disc it is.
Sure, I don't think that's gonna help.
Yeah.
So
Tsunami, hurricane, hypercane. I don't even think hypercane's a real word.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, but I could be wrong. I have no idea.
I'm piping things to say in Atulo that could help me out right now.
If you're reading a green, you read the
Pitch,
no for like golf.
pitch,
You're reading.
If you're reading the green, you're reading the
slope.
dude. It's hopeless.
Corey's
know.
just guessing words and not discs at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even
'Cause
thinking
I'm
about
thinking like what word?
I'm in the same boat as Corey, to be honest. with you.
Aftershock.
it has to
Breaker.
do- Yes,
Breaker.
that's the name. That's where the name.
When the wave gets to the top of the crest, that's all you had to.
That's what I said. A good wave. I mean, it's based off a wave.
Good
What
wave.
should I have
Fuses,
said?
fuses,
Fuses.
That also, yeah.
Hmm.
a fuse
Yeah.
breaker.
And
The
with
box,
that,
the
guys,
gray box in your house that
go
when
buy
the
all
lights
those
go out, you have
discs
to
from
turn on the breaker.
foundationdisc.com. Join the Discord.
Who cares about Foundation Disc? We just figured out breaker.
Go buy some Brixton Disc Golf cards. And we'll see you
Not
in 2
Crash.
weeks. Not next week,
Not
the week
crash,
after.
but breaker.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch. Big shout out. Enjoy the
Thanks for
Discord.
watching. Bye, guys.